Now we're looking at the Unit 2 test, Section 3, which is a graph of a line given an equation. That's questions 8, 9, and 10. And if we look at the equation, we generally are looking at point slope form, which if you'll recall is y equals m, the slope, times the quantity x minus x1 plus y1, where m is the slope and there's a point in your equation x1, y1. That's just a point on your line. More details in your notebook on page 75. And so if I look at this question, the number in front of my parentheses, the number being multiplied in front of x is 5/4, and that is my slope. Remember, that is going to be my rise over run as I'm plotting that. And my point is going to be matched up here. So I have x minus x1, and I have x minus 3 here. My x coordinate is 3. Generally, what we think about is the opposite of what we see in the parentheses here. So I see a minus 3 here, so I should see a positive 3 in my point. Another thing you can think about is what makes this 0, because when that's 0, that's what allows this number out here to be the y value, because 3 minus 3 would be 0, times anything is still 0, and so y is equal to -5. So that's another way of thinking about it. But the y value is always this number outside of the parentheses, or what is being added or subtracted outside of the parentheses. So the first thing I do when I'm graphing something from my equation is start with the point. So I'm going to look on my coordinate axes to see where this point 3, -5 is. So the 3 on the x-axis is here, and 5, -5 is down here. So this point right here is 3, -5, and so I know that my answer has to be one of these two lines. And then I'm going to look at my slope. My slope was 5/4. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a positive 5. And then I go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up right here. So I am on this blue line, or line D, which is choice D as I look at my answer. Oops, sorry, couldn't see that. Looking at question 9, again, looking at point slope form, what is my slope going to be and what is my point? That is always the starting point. Again, if you need to refer to your notes, that's page 75. My slope number out in front here being multiplied outside my parentheses, or being multiplied to x, is -3. And the point, like we said before, it's the opposite of what you see in your parentheses. So I see a +4 here. I needed -4 as the x coordinate of my ordered pair. And then outside of my parentheses is the y. +2 is going to go right here. Some students like to kind of think of another set of parentheses there, that's your ordered pair, except for you have to switch the sign for the value inside the parentheses. So looking at my graph to see where is the point, -4, 2. So -4 for my x value, here's -4, and +2 is right here. So the choices that I have now are either line A or line C, and I'm going to use my slope. And remember, when you have an integer value for slope, that's the same thing as having a 1 underneath that. And we're still thinking of rise over run. And so if my rise is -3, that means I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. So that shows me that I'm going to be on line A, which is choice B here. So this was our correct answer. And then finally, question 10. So this one you can still think of as point slope form. When there's not parentheses, the number that's being added or subtracted to x would be 0, because you can add your own parentheses in. So we could think of this as y equals 1/2 and then x, and you could have minus 0 here, because x minus 0 is still x. It doesn't change its value. That just can help you use point slope form in order to do this, which tells me that my slope is 1/2 and my point is 0, 4. The opposite of 0 is still just 0. There's no opposite of 0. So then we would go to our coordinate axes and go to the point 0, 4. When x is 0, that means it doesn't go left or right of the origin. The y value is 4. So this is the only choice that I have that is hitting at the point 0, 4. I can check that my slope is 1/2. Again, rise over run. I'm going to rise 1, up 1, to the right 2. I do fall on that point. So the best choice here, the correct choice, is L, choice A, in my multiple choice. Another way you can think of this, and we talked about this a little bit, would be to think of the given equation, which was y equals 1/2 x plus 4, in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept, which is where the line will cross the y-axis. And so if you look at 4, 4 is the value where the graph crosses the y-axis, and the slope being 1/2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2 does match up there. So there's kind of two ways of thinking about this problem.